Listen, I'm just as stunned as you are that primary election day is tomorrow, but it is. You'll be watching this space closely for months on end, and we're finally here where the primary voters are going to have a ton of choices, including in the newly drawn 13th Congressional District. If you remember, Illinois lost a seat in Congress because of continued population decline, and Democrats at the Illinois State House drew a map. It was challenged in the courts. They finally got that through, and then the map is now there. So you've got a loss for Illinois in one congressional seat. That put two incumbents into the 15th district, Mary Miller and Rodney Davis. But in the 13th Congressional District, that's a new district. We've talked about the boundaries before, but one of the Republicans looking to get the GOP nomination, one of several Republicans looking to get the GOP nomination, is Jesse Reising. He joins us now. Jesse, thanks for taking time with us this morning. I guess just give people a heads up here. Who are your constituents, and why should they vote for you in the GOP primary?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Greg. So to the question of who are my constituents, this is a kind of a long worm of a district that runs from Urbana in the east all the way, west to Springfield and then down to East St. Louis. The Mike Madigan machine drew it to favor their handpicked Democrat, and that's why one of the main reasons why I'm running, because I think I'm the strongest Republican who has the best shot at beating that Democrat, Nikki Budzinski, in November. The people want a problem solver, someone who has a record of service but is not a career politician, someone who doesn't just talk about problems but actually gets results. I think that's something that I've proven that I am throughout my career and my adult life, someone who has the background and experience that has equipped me to be ready to get results for the people of Central and Southern Illinois from day one. And I've been demonstrating that by rolling out some legislative initiatives as part of my day one agenda for what I'm going to get accomplished when I get to Congress. And that ranges from addressing things like these high gas prices and the skyrocketing crime rates. And that's what I'm going to do when I get to Congress, and I look forward to getting there.
Jesse Reising with us here with Springfield's Morning News, and some of the other issues that we're going to obviously hear about heading into the November election are those dealing with abortion access, gun issues. We've already seen Congress pass and the president sign a package dealing with a variety of things, from trying to have more screenings for people under the age of 21, purchasing a rifle, for instance. But there's also been some issues about funding states that deal with red flag laws. Where do you stand on these so-called red flag laws when it comes to firearms, and whether or not somebody has due process when there are allegations that they could be a threat to themselves or others?
Yeah, I'm a strong constitutional conservative. I believe in the Second Amendment right of the people to keep and bear arms. And this is really a fundamental right of the American people. So before we go about infringing upon that right, we need to have due process. That's how fundamental rights work. And so at the end of the day, I don't think the solution is to disarm law-abiding gun owners. What we need to do is address the mental health crisis in this country, and I've rolled out a legislative proposal for doing exactly that. We also need to support our law enforcement officers as well, because we have a generalized problem with violence in this country, much of which involves firearms. But this is a big problem, and we need to take a holistic approach to solving the problem, and that involves mental health, and it involves supporting our law enforcement officers so they can do the work that they need to keep us safe.
Jesse, if you were to secure the nomination tomorrow night of the several Republicans that are running heading into November, how are you going to distinguish yourself among some of the more urban areas of this district that you're the right candidate heading into November?
Yeah, I'm the right candidate because, again, I'm someone who can get results, and I've proven that I can do that. I had a serious neck injury that ended my Marine Corps career as it was just having a chance to begin in the middle of officer candidate school. And I fought back from that injury and found other ways to serve our country, whether it was as a civilian in Afghanistan or by co-founding an organization called the Warrior Scholar Project, which has grown into a leading national nonprofit organization, and most recently by serving our country as a federal criminal prosecutor and taking the oath to support and defend the Constitution that way. And then I've also rolled out some of my initial legislative proposals that show that I'm actually going to be able to leverage that experience to get results in Congress, whether by reauthorizing the Keystone XL pipeline and preventing the president in the future from killing similar projects so that the oil and gas industry can have the certainty they need to expand production and lower gas prices, giving our law enforcement officers the funding they need for recruitment and retention, ending big tech censorship or unwarranted big tech censorship, that is. And these are some of the solutions that I'll bring to Congress, and that's what the American people need right now, again, is someone who doesn't just talk about problems but actually solves them.
Jesse Reising, where can people find more information if they're still undecided and trying to find out who to vote for come the primary election tomorrow?
Yeah, check us out at jessereising.com. That's JESSEREISING.com. And I would humbly ask folks to vote for Jesse Reising for Congress tomorrow.
Greatly appreciate your time, and we'll likely talk again sometime tomorrow night as the poll numbers start falling in place after the polls close at 7 o'clock. Jesse Reising, a candidate for the Republican nomination for the 13th Congressional District here with Springfield's Morning News. Greatly appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
All right, stay tuned. Much more coming up here with Springfield.